All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So I just did a video on the report that surfaced this morning about the Jets preparing for Aaron Rodgers to return in 2025. And I shared it on Twitter, and I was literally just about to head out. And then I just saw a tweet from Boy Green, right? So quick shout out to Paul Asden. He said, interim Jets head coach Jeff Ulbrich did a tackling presentation to the entire team after the Week 10 Cardinals debacle. 20 total missed tackles. Sauce Gardner was asked for his takeaways from it, and Gardner apparently goes on to say, we know how to tackle. We know how to tackle. We got to make tackles. That's really it. We really don't need no presentation. I know where he's coming from when he did it, but us as professional athletes, we got to be able to make tackles, me included for sure. Well, I think, that's the whole point, right? That's the whole point of the presentation, because the tackles aren't being made. Tackles have been an issue all season long, and you guys don't need me to say that, right? You guys watch the Jets every single Sunday. I'm a defensive first guy. One of my favorite things about football is contact, right? Just big hits, being able to, think about it, right? In football, you can beat your opponent in so many different ways. You can be smarter than them. You can prepare better. You could have more talent. You could be faster. You can be more explosive, whatever the case is. And one of those elements is being more physical. Not only, of course, just on the field, how that affects, a given play, a big hit, a forced fumble, guys playing from start to finish, whistle to whistle, flocking towards the football, limiting yards after catch, right? All of those physical benefits come with that, right? Playing with just that high-end contact, but also think about what it does from the mental side of it, and we don't really see it much these days compared to like the early 2000s, but guys like professional athletes were literally afraid to cross the middle of the field because they were going to get leveled by safeties and linebackers. There's just that physical, for the longest time, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, right? These teams just had ferocious defenses that physical intimidation was a big part of game planning. When you listen to older defensive coordinators talk about the physical part of the game, in many cases, they will reference, how that physicality plays into the psyche of offensive players. So, when we're looking at the Jets defense, we just don't really have that edge outside of a couple players, because I think there are a selected few that really have done a great job with tackling. But in the Jets case, we're missing the routine stuff. We're missing the routine stuff, man. Like a guy will be in open field and you're trusting your corner, you're trusting your one-on-one defender to wrap up and make that play. Or that outside linebacker has to, shoot outside and he's the one responsible for first contact. And if it's not getting done on a consistent level, that's an issue. That is, Arizona had their way with the Jets defense. Just whatever it was, 70-yard drive touchdown, 70-yard drive touchdown, 70-yard. It was like a hot knife through butter. Very, very, very difficult to watch. We saw the New England Patriots just slice up the Jets defense. It's just something's got to be done. So to be honest with you, seeing the New York Jets have a tackling presentation in the middle of November isn't really the most encouraging thing from a player standpoint, right? A team should not be working on how to tackle in the middle of an NFL regular season. But my hat goes off to Ulbrich. I give Jeff Ulbrich a lot of credit. Why? Because this is a hard thing to do. This is something that he would get flack for from potential players. This is something that, quite honestly, could be looked at as an embarrassing thing. But Ulbrich is saying, this is unacceptable. 20 missed tackles is unacceptable. I've had my issues with Jeff Ulbrich this season as interim head coach. I think he's giving it his all. I think he's trying his best. But it just feels like there's too many moving parts, and there's a lot of things that Ulbrich, is forced to clean up because, the team obviously went out and fired Saleh after 5 weeks. So, there's a lot of things on the fly that Ulbrich has to be accountable for. And again, he's not doing a great job. And I don't think he's going to get the permanent head coaching job. But I appreciate Ulbrich for trying. I appreciate Ulbrich by doing the unpopular thing, which is the tackling presentation. Gardner, like in Gardner's response here, we really don't need no presentation. I know where he's coming from when he did it, but as us professional athletes, we got to be able to make tackles, me included for sure. That's the reason why this tackling presentation is a thing, because the team isn't tackling. So clearly nothing in the weeks prior is fixing this issue. Tackling has been an ongoing problem all season long. So what is going to be that wake up call? What is going to be the look in the mirror moment? What is going to be that moment, that light bulb to where it's like things have got to change? Maybe it has to be this. Maybe it has to be the tackling presentation mid-November. So I really don't have an issue with Jeff Ulbrich doing this. I would have an issue if he would have, continued doing the same thing. Hey, tackling has been an issue. Is there anything being done to fix it? These guys know how to tackle. They're all professionals here. I would be more irritated with that than I would with him just trying something here in a tackling presentation. I think a lot of people have played sports before in the past. And there's instances and moments where, coaches maybe force you to do something that you don't necessarily want to do, or you don't really think it's necessary, but you know what, you just do it because they're the coach and, they feel as though they know what's best for the team. I think it's the same situation here from Ulbrich. The Jets have looked a certain way all year on the defensive side of the football. They have regressed massively on the defensive side of the football. We cannot tackle well at all. So if Jeff Ulbrich feels as though this is, what needs to be done, then as a group, we need, in my opinion, there needs to be that self-awareness of we are 3-7, we are getting shredded on the defensive side of the football. I'm open for anything. Let me, if there's anything else, if it's a retired coach coming in and giving us tips, if it's me reaching out to other defensive players, hey, you know what, I got to get more, how do I do this? How do I do that? Can I have some technique help? Whatever it is, because I want results. I want my play to improve. And I think if there's that mindset across the locker room, then we would see an uptick in potential defensive, tackles being made more consistently. So again, I really don't mind Ulbrich for doing this. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section on it. I fully understand that it could be embarrassing, as an NFL pro, as a millionaire, right? Most of these guys are first round picks. To be sitting there and learning from your head coach in the middle of a regular season as a 3-7 team how to tackling techniques, but it's just not good enough. Take any facet of football, catching passes, fielding punts. If your team is horrible in that area, I would want my head coach to step up to the plate and do something that is probably pretty unpopular. But take some accountability, have that self-awareness and say, hey, look, we need to get back to square one. This has been an issue. Let's fix it. Let's build from the ground up, and we're going to fix it eventually, but we need to start here. So let me know your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. And as always, go Jets.